and welcome back. Today's video is on this brand new foundation. I know I've had a few foundation videos back to back. I am gonna start splitting them up a little bit more. It just so happened that I placed a few orders for different kinds of new makeup releases and the foundation came first, so that's why it's a little bit together in the foundation reviews. I am going to start splitting it up a little bit more though, because I do want to start incorporating a foundation review a week. I think they're really fun to test out, and I want to do some different things with it, whether it's a new foundation review, a new to me foundation, a little bit older but I haven't tested it out yet, or a dupes video for foundation. I don't know, it's still in the works, but I'm starting to think that I'm going to start introducing that about once a week. So this is the foundation of the week. In my hands, I have the brand new foundation by IT Cosmetics, their Confidence in a Foundation. It retails for $32, and I picked up the shade 120 Light. Ooh, I just put a large swatch on the back of my hand. Whoopsie. Let's do a little test here. Yeah, it's a little bit darker than what I normally go for, but it's starting to approach that summertime season, and I like to fake a little bit of a tan during that time, so I think this might be able to work. I just gotta blend it down the neck a little bit. I don't know, we're gonna find out. It's always tricky when ordering foundation online. It's a little bit daunting. I was between one shade that looked a little bit too light and this shade that looked a little bit too dark, so I was like, okay, I'll go with this one. This time around though, they did launch with 48 shades, which is really incredible because it usually doesn't launch with that many shades. It's pretty low. I think they have for their CC creams and different things like that about 12 shades. So awesome that they decided to launch with a full 48. Some more details about the foundation. They say it's oil-free. It has a velvet matte finish that is supposed to deliver 24 hours of coverage. That's a long time. I have high hopes. It's also supposed to be a full coverage foundation, which I told you guys, full coverage is the coverage of the year. 2019, we're going full. They also claim that it's perfect for all skin types, even the most sensitive skin. Well, I like that. Infused with ceramides, peptides, hydrolyzed collagen, hyaluronic acid, and squalene. Okay then. And of course they say they developed it with dermatologists and plastic surgeons. So with all the details out the way, let's start applying some foundation. Starting off with some primer, I'm going to take a little bit of the Cover FX blurring primer. This is very similar to the Benefit Professional that I've been using a lot of. It is also pore blurring, pore minimizing and all that, so I just like to stick it in the nose area, and then if I have any left on my fingers, I'll just kind of rub it out on the chin and a little bit on the forehead. Not taking any real product on there, just, you know, the leftovers. And then you guys should already know this step. I'm going to take a little bit of the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Primer Water in Coconut, just to help hydrate the face a little bit. And then we are ready to go in. So this is my skin before, definitely far from perfect. So I'm excited to see the coverage on this and how it wears. I'm ready. I'm taking some of the excess I had from the swatch I did, because that was a lot. I pumped out almost a full pump there. It was a total accident. So I'm just gonna plop a little bit here and there. And I'm gonna do a comparison today between brush and sponge, because online it does say that you should use this with your favorite IT Cosmetics brush. I don't actually have a IT brush, but I do have a few foundation brushes. This is the Sigma F82. And I'm just gonna start working in this foundation. There is some serious coverage in this, that is for sure. I mean, just look at that. Woo, I love it. And the shade of it actually isn't that bad. I'm pretty happy with that. It gives me a little bit of a tan, I suppose you could say. Still pretty light in the foundation. The swatch definitely looks a little bit darker than what it does on the face, I think. I am gonna let the swatch dry down and see if it oxidizes any, just so we know what we're working with here. But this is going on beautifully with a brush. I'm not seeing any brush strokes in it either, so it's just working out gorgeous. And this is the first time in a while I'm doing a foundation review without having the eyes and eyebrows done, so I can be as messy as I want, just go right over it. I'm gonna take a pump some more on the back of my hand. I'm just gonna squeeze out one because I was able to do the entire half of this face with just the swatch I had on the back of my hand. So that was awesome. So I'm just gonna put a couple dots there and start blending it in with the sponge. And it's pretty normal with a sponge. It soaks up the product a little bit more because I'm already running out of the pump I put to the back of the hand. And I feel like the coverage on this side is just a little bit more than on this one. I'm going in with another layer here. I'm building it up. I'm now taking the last of the foundation that I had swatched out. And you know what? I think I prefer the brush for this one. The coverage is a lot better on this side using the brush. I didn't have to use as much product. The pump that I pumped out, completely gone, just using it on the cheek here and working a little bit down the neck. The forehead still needs coverage. And on this side, I was able to use the entire pump and just work it all into the side of the face. So you definitely use less product and get a little bit of a better coverage. So I'm gonna take the brush and finish up this side of the face. But man, that looks freaking fabulous. This is really good coverage. It doesn't even show any kind of brush strokes from using the brush. Everything just blended seamlessly together. I don't feel like I need to go over with a sponge to stipple things out. Looks really good. Let me get you really close so you can see this. Even though you were pretty close, I want to get you even closer so you can see the coverage on this. Looks really good right now. I'm definitely very happy with it so far. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys the time now, which it is 7:55 a.m. I decided to get this going really early today. I wanted to get a full wear test and then still be able to hit the gym later at night, you know, goals for the day. Now I'm just gonna finish up the rest of my makeup off camera. I'm gonna put on some concealer, powder, bronzer, eyes, eyebrows, the works. So I'll be back in a second to show you guys this foundation in a different lighting. Also do a flashback test just to kind of see what we're working with here. So I'll be back in 2 seconds. And I am back with a full face of makeup on. Not entirely sure I'm thrilled with today's eye look, but that aside, the foundation itself looks freaking beautiful still. It's actually 8:47 now. It took me an entire hour to do the rest of the makeup, so the foundation has been on for a good hour now. 7:55 is the time in which we are going to be using as the starting point for today's wear test, since that is when I first applied it, and that's why I decided to do that first, because it always takes me forever to do the rest of my makeup. It's ridiculous, especially when I'm experimenting. One thing I do want to mention before I do a close-up in different lighting is the foundation shade here. So this is a completely dried down swatch. That is a fresh one I just plopped on. So keep in mind that it oxidizes a little bit. I'm gonna give you guys a few comparisons just because it might help. I did get asked in my last video for a few comparisons just so you guys know if you're ordering online what shade I am. So here is the comparison, which I have to admit, this swatch looks so dark. This is the It Cosmetics one I'm testing out today, the light nude. Next to it, I have Milani in porcelain. Then it's LA Girl in ivory, Makeup Revolution in F3, and lastly, we have Physicians Formula in LC1. So yeah, that's actually a lot darker than I thought it was. Decided to switch up the position a little bit, that way you guys could see this in a more natural lighting. So this is without all of the beauty lights. The foundation is looking really good so far. The only thing is that the smile lines are starting to crease a little bit, which isn't that big of a deal. It tends to happen since I am a person. I do talk a lot, I smile a lot. So I'm just gonna keep my eyes on it and see how it progresses throughout the day. Once more, there is no touch-ups today, and I do have an oily skin type. I did not mention that yet. Now let's do a flash test. Flash test, I think it's approved. It doesn't show any kind of bounce back with the lighting. It looks pretty true to the shade, aside from the fact that that picture is one of the most horrifying that I've taken. I think that's a good thing. So currently it is now 9:08 a.m. So I'm thinking I'm gonna check back in with you guys around 12 o'clock and just see how things have progressed, let you know the dealio. So I'll be back in a few hours and let you know what's going on. it is time for that check-in. It is now 12:09 p.m. so it's been 4 hours with this foundation on. Let me scoot you guys in so we can take a look at this. Also, lip gloss has worn off. I did have coffee, I did have lunch, so let me just reapply a little bit of that. So much better. All right, now let's get closer. So here is how we're looking 4 hours in, and I'm actually really excited how it's looking at this point. It's looking really good, but I don't want to get too excited because we all know how things can just roll downhill after the 4-hour check-in, but at this point, the foundation is looking really good. The only thing I'm noticing is the smile lines are really defined today. They have creased quite a bit. I'm not too concerned about that because that typically does happen with most foundations since I do smile and talk a lot. It's a pretty easy method to help get rid of those. Either you have a teeny tiny little beauty blender that you keep in your purse and just dab it out, or use the edge of your fingertip and just buff it out. I'm not gonna do that because I do want to see how it progresses. You guys like it when I don't do any kind of touch-ups throughout the day. So I'm gonna leave those as is, but aside from that, the foundation is looking really good. I'm just noticing a little bit of a shine that's kind of happening through the T-zone at this point. Not too bad 4 hours in. We'll have to see how that shine develops, if it gets worse, if it stays the same. But at this point, everything is looking really good. I'm definitely happy with this. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep wearing this, gonna go about the rest of my day, and I'll be back in a few hours. Hi berries! Just a quick little PSA here. If you guys have never tried a at-home matcha latte iced, highly recommend it. It's so easy to make. You just use almond milk, some matcha powder, hot water to stir it, honey, or whatever sweetener you like, and this stuff is heaven in an iced latte form. Oh, so cute! He's so cute! Look at him, he just wants to go outside. And while I have you guys here drinking my little matcha latte, I just want to do a quick check-in. It's 1:57 p.m. Hopefully you guys can see that. I need to change the background so you guys can see the time a little bit better, but the oils on the face are growing. I am glistening all throughout the face. Sorry if you hear my dog's footsteps. Mommy's recording. Hold on, I'll take you outside. My face is completely glistening right now. I just checked on it in the bathroom mirror and I was like, oh, I could definitely use some powder. But I'm not gonna do any kind of touch-ups. We're gonna do a touch-up at the end and see how the foundation reacts with the powder in order to set down the oils. But just a little quick update for you guys. The rest of the foundation is still looking really good. Let's keep wearing it another 2 hours and I'll check back in. You guys, my skin is so oily at this point. You guys already know it is time for that final check-in. So I've made it to 4:28 p.m. So we have made it 8.5 hours into wearing this foundation. And you guys could tell from the updates as I was giving you throughout the day that it just progressively got oilier and oilier. So let me get you a little bit closer so you can see everything going on with me. So the foundation just did nothing for keeping my oils at bay, which if you do have an oilier skin type, you do know that some foundations work better than others. Some you need to powder down constantly, and others you could leave for 8 hours and you will barely have a shine going on. And I do have a few foundations that are some of my holy grail in which I do not need to powder except for maybe once at 7 hours in. And even then it's pretty light. They hold up so well to the oils, and sometimes some foundations just fall short on that. But aside from the overall greasy look to the face, everything else looks like it's been holding on really well. I'm not entirely sure if that is because the oils make my appearance look a little bit more filtered. So when that happens, I'm just gonna take a little bit of powder to kind of blot and see what we have working on underneath, because sometimes it can do that. The oils give it a little bit of a filtered look in a way. And it's always good to see if you are able to powder down the foundation, take those oils away, and how it looks. Oh man, looking so much better. I was oily all throughout the face. I just need to take this powder everywhere. Nothing is safe. Now let's investigate. Oh guys, so the foundation underneath is still actually looking pretty good. Let me get you a little bit closer here. I always get a little bit worried when I powder down because the oils can shift things around underneath, but good news, put the powder on top and it looks really good still. So I'm definitely happy. And aside from the oils, the only other issue I had was the creasing from the smile line. So overall, if you have a very oily skin type like myself, honestly, this foundation may not be the greatest for you because you are gonna probably have to constantly keep powdering throughout the day. I mean, it just got worse and worse and worse, so I feel like you would have to powder a few times throughout the day, perhaps powder, put a little bit of setting spray, and just refresh it a little bit since I got extremely oily in this. I think it's a little bit more geared towards the drier skin types, maybe a little bit combo if you have a little bit of an oily T-zone area, but you don't get that heavily oily, just a little bit. I think this would work out for you guys a lot better because the finish of this was actually really nice. It didn't feel like it dehydrated my skin. It felt very nice and hydrated all day. It didn't dry down. It didn't do any weird caking. It felt really nice on the skin, so I think this would be more suited for you guys rather than my oily skin guys and gals. Hopefully this review helped you guys and you enjoyed this video of me testing out this brand new IT Cosmetics foundation. If you did, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that little bell button. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!